Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite Dark Sorcerer here, and I want to update the changes going on in my life and that of my family's. Now, as I told you in my last video, I've been doing a lot of rituals, been communing with spirits a lot, and most importantly, been hitting the books a lot. Not just meditation and applying, what I'm learning. So, and what I'm doing to my life. And I kind of filled you in a little bit about my current job, you know, Duncan, you know. So it was kind of interesting. After work yesterday, I went in, was meditating with my patroness, called on a few others to come in and share their enlightenment, their wisdom with me. And today, when I was at work, this morning, right into this afternoon. I thought it was very, very interesting. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me lower this down here just a sec. There we go. Now, this is where it came into interesting is because I kept to myself most of the day. Every so often, shout out some puns towards my coworkers. Yeah, especially when they open themselves up to it. You just can't help yourself there. So, anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, instead of getting angry or, frustrated, it's like, yeah, I'm thinking I'm done. I'm thinking I'm done. And then all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, I'm listening to the order and it's like, hey, I know that voice. That's my favorite customer that keeps trying to recruit people. And it was funny because of the fact that I didn't even think twice about it. And I was making drinks and she pulls up to the window, and I went to the window and I asked her, I said, "Hey, what school or location would you recommend for thanatology?" Okay, just blurted it out, just asked her. I mean, she's a director of a facility, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, a hiring director or just plain just a director. I'm not sure what she is. I just know she's those one that hires people. So, anyways, she asked me, "What's thanatology?" And I told her, and she's like, "Wow, yeah, that would actually pretty cool." But through the facility that I work in, you can become certified in as a CNA. Okay, that's a certified nurse's aide, and that was pretty cool too because of the fact that if that's the way I wanted to go, then guess what? I could easily become certified in that field. But the field that I want to do is more of a counselor. It's more like hospice and counseling and stuff like that. It's thanatology is the study of the dead, the dying and the dead, and it's where you work with not only the community but and the family, but also the individual dying. Okay, the dying process, and think of it as the soul's journey. The Tibetan Book of the Dead. You know, so and it's a lot like that. So, anyways, and I told her, I said, I'm wrapping it up here. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. And she said, well, I told you, just come on in. And it's like, okay. So after work, I went out and I got in my car and I was just sitting there for a couple of minutes and just having a breather, kind of chilling out, leaving all the work behind. And I realized everything is pointing for that change. Everything is pointing for that change to happen. The spirits are guiding me to the changes. The cartomancy, the tarot cards, they're pointing to change. The pendulum is definitely going towards change. Through the questions I've been asking, and on top of that, the spirits that I commune with are pointing and leading me to change. So it's like, you know what? Just about everything is pointing to that change. So enough procrastination, enough dragging that foot behind, waiting for that other shoe to drop. Let's just jump right in and do it. And right now, with all the jobs that are open, it's a great time to do it. So I went over since I was invited. I went over and I went in and had an interview. I filled out the application, had the interview, and I start March, next month on the 5th, unless something happens and I get done with Duncan sooner. So that's what I'm talking about. When you start listening to the spirits and you start putting the work in for yourself and then applying that gnosis, that apotheosis, that enlightenment to your own lives, you will go for, how should I say this? You will go far. Plain and simple. You will go far. So it's very interesting to see just how far. I used an old spirit box that I had emptied out and cleansed, and I started, putting money in it, you know, and just seeing just within a week's time just how much has changed in my life. You know, yeah, the rent's gone up by about 30, maybe $40, but who cares? You got things are going good, and I mean, especially over the last month or two, with the all the negativity, and then you had it last year, and it's still going on this year. You got all this stuff going on, and it's like, you cleanse yourself, you you cleanse your how should I say this, your ritual room, your home, the animals if you have them. Obviously, I do. And so, and like I said, I mean, I've just been applying myself to the work, just getting into rituals, getting into ceremonies, getting into devotions, literally just stepping back from the world and just applying to the spirituality. That's all I've been doing is just spirituality, getting into the reading, the studying, and it's led me into so many great paths. A lot of which, I've practiced in the past, but recently, like I said, over the last couple of years, has been necromancy. That's led me into Slavic and Russian witchcraft, Germanic, into African Caribbean traditions. And here I am over the last week, delving into Brujeria, black magic, and sorcery. And then all of a sudden, all these changes are coming. And it's like, yes, I love it, but you also got to think before you act. And I've been doing a lot of thinking over the last few weeks, maybe a little too much, which is why when this opportunity presented itself, I jumped on board. So it's very intriguing to see. I asked a question and got invited for an interview. And it's like, with everything pointing to that change, you got to go with it. And it, as I told my soon to be new boss, I said, when, you got my better half pushing for this change to happen, you got the spirits, you got, the cards, you got everything, just pointing to that change. So it's like, it's time to stop, dragging that foot. It's time to step up. It's like I always say, step up or step down, speak up or shut up. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that, she invited me over and I went and I ended up with a new job. So I mean, tomorrow I get to look at my boss and say, nah, 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 nah. No, just kidding. I'm not that kind of guy. That's I would rather, as I told my better half today when I informed her when I got home. I said I would rather leave on a high note. Give them the 2 weeks. Give them at least 2 weeks to find somebody to replace me. If they don't and they drag their own feet, then that's on them. But guess what? I'll leave on good terms, which means if this new job doesn't work out, I can always return. But, down the road. Either way, it's all good. Changes are coming. I even, like I said, changed my altar room. We've been changing the apartment up and switching things out. And it's interesting when you let go and you just trust the spirits. They don't they don't like they won't how should I say this? They will not, steer you wrong unless you're doing duality. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do duality, serving two masters, you're gonna get your ass handed to you on a golden platter. You get what you get if you're that stupid. Pick a lane, stick with it, delve into it. Don't be afraid to do that full on belly flop and just trust the change. Trust the spirits, trust the cards, trust the magic. Okay? Believe in yourself, believe in the magic, and you'll go far. Okay? And like I said, that's all I've been doing. So this was just an update on yesterday's video that I did here, on YouTube, and I believe I shared it to Facebook as well. So, but yeah, there's like I said, changes are coming, and I'm going with it. I've decided it's time. So, have a good one, and until next time, I'm out.